No, you a bold man, bro.
Yeah, I got it. I got it on
Why? Why are you wearing a Nets basketball shirt right now?
because it represents a funeral. It's all black. Death. Death. It's over. That's why I got it on.
Oh man, I wasn't expecting that. That's hilarious. Damn.
That's why I got it on. Shoot.
Damn. Well, brooms might be popping for this Nets and Celtics series. It's so funny. Like the basketball guys wanted this podcast recording to happen before Game 4. They really did, because it actually might be a good thing that the sweep has not been official. But yeah,
It's nasty. Nasty times we're in. Nasty times we're in.
Nasty is an understatement. So let's talk about it, okay? Nets, Celtics. Very, very rarely do we talk about games where they're before the game is going to be played that day, if that makes sense. It's more of like a recap kind of thing. But damn it, this is an emergency. What the hell is wrong with the Brooklyn Nets? Right? What is it? Is it that the Nets are playing awful, or that the Celtics are just playing well, or is it a combination of both?
It's crazy because even if they do go out and don't get swept, then the inevitable is happening. So it don't really matter. So we talk about this now and we don't know the results and stuff like that. It don't even matter because they can win tonight. It don't even matter because we know at the end of the day, they're going home in the first round. Like, it's 3-0 has never happened before in the history of the NBA. So we don't even have to worry about that. So
it's funny because you got so many people say, well, a team with KD, Kyrie, they can never get swept. Like, there's no way. Let me tell you something, right? All that belief of they can never get done. And who knows, right? I'm not saying that it can't be done.
True.
But like, I'm just saying that, like, the fact that they have KD and Kyrie, that's not enough for me to say that's why they're going to get done. Not no damn more. Not no damn more.
Not anymore.
Hey, you feel me?
Not anymore.
I was going to say that off the strength of the beginning of this series. They're not a normal 7 seed, this and that. That was off the strength of the name recognition. Now, no. Yeah. I ain't seen nothing that would make me confident say, for sure. I ain't giving up shit. No.
Not when your two best players playing like the fourth and fifth best players on the team. It is what it is.
Nasty, it's nasty work.
It's nasty
work.
Like, off the strength, I was saying, like, Kevin Durant, I wanted to pick the Boston Celtics, but off the strength, I would say, one team got Kevin Durant, the best player in the world. I picked him to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I'm saying? Like, off the strength of Kevin Durant and Kyrie, but not no more. Not when reality is set in. Not what we're seeing with the Boston Celtics versus the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, it's nasty. You ask the question, like, is it the Brooklyn Nets playing bad? Is it the Boston Celtics playing good in their defense? Is it a combination of both? All I'm going to say is I'm leaning more towards, like, I had never seen Kevin Durant play like this before in my life. So I'm going to say it's more so that the Nets are playing absolutely terrible, because I've never witnessed this before with Kevin Durant. Like, this is the first time that I'm, like, people say KD is shook. I'm actually shook recording this right now because I've never seen this man. Like, when we talk about Kevin, we talk about a top 10 player of all time. And then I say all the time, like, it's not 5 guys more talented in the game in the history of basketball than Kevin Durant. I've never seen him rattled like this before. And it's scary, really. It's scary.
Like, you really just don't know to identify the situations. Like, who and I don't even think it's just like a bad game, right? I don't even think it's not just a bad shooting. It literally looks like, what's going on? Is everything all right? Yeah, like, is everything all right? Like, it's and again, give credit to the Celtics, right? They've had an amazing defensive scheme. To win 3 straight games against a team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving says a lot about who they are. I know a lot of people are quick to judge KD and Kyrie and even Steve Nash, but give credit to the Celtics for actually producing. Now, to talk about the team in black and white, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, it's almost as if, like, and they're trying. That's also another thing that's scary too. Like, they care, right? Like, we've seen a lot of players in past history.
Do they care?
No,
because last game, it don't seem like Bruce Brown cared, because he was the only one that came out with energy, came out with, like, our season's on the line. Because I didn't see no, like, energy. I didn't see no tenacity. I didn't see no, like, aggression. I didn't see no, like, really, like, we have to win this game. I didn't see that. I saw a team that was flat. I saw a team that was nervous. I saw a team that got punked. So I don't know. Like, do they care? And then we have reports coming out that we made a podcast, our last podcast, talking about Ben Simmons returning.
We can talk about that.
And he's not returning. So it's like, do they really care? I really don't know. I really don't know.
It's getting nasty in Brooklyn. It is getting nasty in Brooklyn.
I don't know,
For everybody. From the players, the coaching staff. It's getting nasty. Because it's like, yo, like, I know the Celtics are like that. The Celtics look ready, but damn. Is this a ball game? Is this like an even matchup? It's crazy. The Nets are the only team in entire playoffs to not have a single win.
Yeah,
of all teams,
and that's nasty. And that's nasty if they don't win tonight, because the coming into the year as a championship, not even a contender, the favorite. They were the favorite to win the championship. And for you guys to get swept, and I understand it's certain points and context with James Harden and Kyrie and this and that, but you know what? You can point to every team in the NBA that got certain things and injuries and players. Shit, look at the New Orleans Pelicans right now. People want to talk about Devin Booker being out. Shit, Zion Williamson ain't played all year. So it's just like, what are we doing? That's what I say. Every team can point to certain things, but you know what? When that ball is up in the air, you got to play. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So it's spooky.
Yeah.
It's spooky.
Yeah. And it's almost as if like, well, obviously the Nets, let's have a bigger conversation. Let's ask a bigger question here. No. You know what direction I'm heading to, but it has to be discussed. Yeah. I've already been asked about it, so we might as well just bring it to the show.
Yeah.
If the Nets lose this first round series, if they continue to play poorly and they get swept, obviously, that's a disappointment on this season. We all know that. We can address that. But let's skip that. What does this say, Ahmad, to Kevin Durant's legacy? And we could talk about it. Now, again, here my question. My question is, what does this do to Kevin Durant's legacy? And I'm wording it that way so that we are all clear on what the question is that I'm asking you.
Well, it doesn't help it. I would say that. I'm not going to sit up and say, to me, he's a top 10 basketball player of all time already. So he's stamped with that. But it doesn't help the fact that, especially like, I think this question is like a two-part question, because like the first part is can be like, if they get knocked out of the first round, which I think is going to happen, whether they get swept or not. But then the second part is like, what happens for the rest of the playoffs? Because don't let Giannis go out and go back-to-back. And don't let Stephen Curry go out and win a championship, because then you're gonna have different parts of people asking certain questions like, I don't know if Kevin Durant's the best player in the world if Giannis goes back to back. Golden State Warriors win a championship. Well, it clearly was like, people are already starting to say like, Kevin Durant needed Steph Curry. He needed Steph Curry. That's the only reason why he won those championships. So it's just like, it's a two-part question. But for his part one, it doesn't help his legacy, because at the end of the day, he's the one that's driving the bus. He's the one that's responsible and the best player on that team. He's going to have all the pressure and expectations on his shoulders, and he hasn't fulfilled it and lived up to it. And it's kind of like, it's okay to go down with the ship when you're playing well. And when we talk about LeBron James losing the finals and stuff like that, going down with the ship, but we couldn't point to LeBron James and sit up and say, LeBron, you ain't show up. Only one time in his career we can do that. We can point to this series with Kevin Durant and be like, you ain't show up completely. And it wasn't even close. Wasn't even a thing. And that's when we talk about, like, especially losing in the first round. This ain't the Eastern Conference Finals and the final. You're losing in the first round. You ain't showing up. That's uncharted territory. That's nasty.
Very nasty indeed. All right, here we go. So, to me, this series means or does nothing at all in terms of Kevin Durant's legacy. Right? Kevin Durant is stamped. Kevin Durant should be considered one of the greatest offensive scorers and talents this game has ever seen. I'm not going to get crazy and say, okay, this one series makes us completely forget what the hell that man has done. Exactly. But I will say this, unfortunately, all right, because I tell how it is, give my opinion. But for the first time ever, legitimate questions can be raised if Kevin Durant has ever been able to do it on his own. Right? So again, I am not a KD hater at all, but there are some people who feel, right, that KD needed Steph and Klay to get it done. You've mentioned before how KD made them a dynasty. And KD definitely upgraded those teams, for the record. But like at the same time, if there was ever a time in your career where you could have proved and killed all that noise, it's now. Because even during those times with OKC, you look at who he lost to. You lost to a peak Miami Heat team with LeBron James, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh. Ain't nobody finna argue with that. And plus, that was a young KD. And even with those Warriors teams that people might get upset at, well, he had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, so they won. So it's like, okay, we get that. But now, people had championship aspirations when this playoff series started. You bring up the idea of like, okay, we had aspirations for them to win a chip in the beginning of the regular season, but a lot of things changed. So like, okay, who knows? But even 2 weeks ago, people thought they could win this series. So it's like, well, now there's no excuse. And then to get swept, and on top of that, play poorly, and on top of that, in the first round, and on top of that, be the best player in the series, and on top of that, be considered the best player in the world. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
And you know how it is. I feel this way because I hold Kevin to a higher standard. Kevin Durant is not no emerging young star. Kevin Durant is not a rookie. Kevin Durant is not no 20-year-old looking to put a mid-level team on the map. This is Kevin Durant. He gets mentioned in the same breath as Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. We have to acknowledge what's actually happening. Now, again, he could mess around as of this recording, go out there and win 4 straight games and give Boston hell. And you know what? I would say, shit, I apologize, Kevin. But from what the hell has been happening these first 3 games, questions can be raised. Now, again, like I said, he's still a 2-time Finals MVP. He's still an MVP, right? He still has done things, but like, for the first time, as the true, like, yo, because we talk about this with Giannis. If we don't consider you the best player in the world, hey, okay, go ahead. Get active. But that question is getting a little shaky. It's getting a little shaky.
What question? The
idea of him being the best player in the world, even if we really want to take it there, should he have even been in the same breath as other players, right? Because LeBron, do you think LeBron will be down 3-0 in this type of series? Do you think, and the thing is too, very similar to the Ben Simmons situation of last year. Ain't nobody asking you to do anything that you've never done before. Yeah. I'm not asking KD to go out there and average 60. I'm not even asking for a damn averaging triple-double. But you know, you've seen the 3 games that like it's like you said, it's almost like I don't know who
you're watching.
That's I don't have joy in saying that for the record. Like some people have been waiting for this moment. You got some people in OKC that still hate this man. You still got some people with Dub Nation that are rooting for his failure. I'm not. I'm just calling it how it is. Like
I'm not on here. I'm not on social media. I'm not about to get on this podcast. I'm not anything, the stuff that I do. I'm not, my personal brand. I'm not on here going to go crazy like some people are getting crazy. People are really getting crazy and they really getting active about Kevin Durant. And you know what? All I can do is sit back and be like, I understand it. Because when we hold people to the highest standard, when we talk about the game of basketball, when we talk about certain, GOATs, because we talk about like LeBron James in the GOAT category, but Kevin Durant is in his own GOAT category. When people talk about like the greatest scorer of all time, Kevin Durant's name is mentioned, next to Kobe, next to Michael Jordan. So it's just like he's in his own separate category. Like Stephen Curry is in his own separate category. Michael Jordan is in his own separate category when we talk about different nuances of the game. But it's just like, I understand it. LeBron's been through it. Michael Jordan's been through it. Kobe Bryant's been through it. Steph Curry. So it's like, it is what it is.
You're right. They've been through it, but when did they go through it? That's the part that scares me the most about this, right? Like, Bron and Ron, they went through it when they were young, but they reached a point where it was like, yo, okay, I'm at the top now.
No, I'm talking about like scrutiny and like talking about like people having agendas and people like, yo, like you played bad and stuff like that. We're gonna talk about your series, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. Go ahead.
But I would say, when the scrutiny happened and the criticism was there, those guys had an opportunity to kill that noise, and they did. For the longest of time, people say, LeBron ain't got no ring. Well, he went out and got some. Clip, right? Like, and now people are saying, well, KD can't win without a team. Okay, here's your chance to go kill that noise. Same thing with Giannis. Giannis can't win till you get a jump shot. Giannis can't do this. Whoop-de-whoa. He gave 50 in a closeout game in the finals. He responded. Same thing with Devin Booker. All he does. Same thing with Trae Young. All he does is empty stats this, empty stats that. Cool. They went out and killed that noise.
Yeah. So
Kevin Durant ain't being killed right now. It's not. Yeah. It's not. It's really, really not.
Especially when it's just kind of like the first 2 years when he's been healthy and he came off Achilles injuries and stuff like that and still showed the world like, yo, he was not just a top 5 player. So he was the best player in the world, arguably. People can make their cases who they want, but like I think most people would feel like Kevin Durant is the best player in the world, during these last 2 years. And some people they go all the way back to 2017 when he went to Golden State Warriors. So it depends on who you ask. Not me, of course, but it's tough because, like you said, he has to go out and prove it that, like, yo, he can lead a team to a championship, being that head honcho, being that bus driver. And it's just kind of like, even you talked about like LeBron James and like Michael Jordan. I will say this though. I said it's part one. This is part one of like the discussion. I feel like part 2 has to be had after the playoffs until we can see like what other people go out and do. Because if, like you said in the previous podcast, what if Giannis goes out and loses in the second round? What if Stephen Curry doesn't win the championship? And then it's kind of like, all right, this whole conversation about Kevin Durant, yeah, he played bad and stuff, but it gets a little lighter. You know what I'm saying? Because then we go into next season things, we like, who the hell is the best player in the world? You know what I'm saying? It's a toss-up. We go into next season thinking like that. But don't let like Giannis go out and go back to back because it's really going to be clipped. Because people going to they already feel that Giannis is the best player in the world and they have that right to feel that way. But don't go out and let him win back to back and start doing something that the top 5 best players of all time have done. Don't let Stephen Curry go out and win his first finals MVP and go to State Warriors and look like, yo, we told y'all we didn't need Kevin Durant. Like this dynasty, this team is still intact, even without Kevin Durant. People forgot. Like that's when we have to have that part 2.
I'm gonna tell you what, if Giannis goes out and win another championship this year, all right, it's gonna be a lonely ass table. It's going to be a lonely ass table when we have that conversation about who's the best. I'm dead serious. If Giannis goes out there and on top of what we just saw, it's going to be a lonely ass table. Ain't going to be no invites. That brother's going to be sitting at that damn table by himself. It's not going to be, I don't want to hear nothing about no, he had a bad, somebody else had a bad season, that whoop-de-whoop. No. It's Giannis and then there's everybody damn else. It sucks, but that's going to be the world we live. But again, all this is if, right? This is the whole point of all this. It's exciting times because like I said, there's still time left. And Kevin Durant has earned that right. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm on the fence, but again, we are talking about Kevin Durant. So until that door is closed, until that sweep happens, until Boston has officially beat Brooklyn 4 times in a row, I'm willing to entertain, long-term conversations. But man, when that door gets shut, and if it gets shut in 4 games, we are going to have an unhealthy conversation.
I'm at the. It's crazy because I still feel like I would have to wait until to see how the playoffs play out because. I'll be kind of silly to kind of not look at like the past and kind of like how other guys' failures, like when they had failures, it was not like this whole like, okay, well, it's just a wrap completely. So that's why I said, me personally, I'll have to wait until like, I feel like this is a part 1 and part 2 conversation because I really feel like I got to wait and see how things play out. Because like if Giannis goes out and he doesn't win a championship and then my thing about it is like if he gets like, what if Giannis gets shut down? Hurts the Boston Celtics. Like we don't. It's like we don't know.
That's the scary part too.
It's crazy.
We're talking about the losing thing. It ain't even just about the losing. It's the performance as well. On top of that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's very rare to see a player of this caliber.
That's true.
Lose and play well. Now again, you know how I feel about winning, but at least I acknowledge when a player is playing well and then loses. This is 2 strikes. Yeah. This is 2 L's. You doing both. Shit. Yeah. Like even in that last year's series against the Bucks, they lost, right? The Bucks. But at least he was like, hey, KD, shit, man.
That's true.
Hey, at least he was out there hooping. At least he put the damn team on his back and they just lost. This is scary. This is scary. That's what I'm saying. I don't recognize this.
Scary. I don't recognize this player because that's a great point. Because like you said, LeBron James got 8 finals losses. What do you got? 8 finals losses?
4 and 6. But 8 straight.
4 or 6 in the final. He got 6 finals losses. But it's just like a lot of those, like we had conversations. We had conversations like, should LeBron James be Finals MVP even though he lost the finals? That's how cold LeBron James was. That's how cold he was doing, bro.
You want to know how talented LeBron James was? They gave the Finals MVP to the man that he was cooking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Put that into perspective. Put that into perspective.
So
they gave the Finals MVP to the man that, like. And the thing is, too, you're talking about the finals, Ahmad.
Yeah,
you're talking about what LeBron did 4 and 6, going 10 times in the NBA finals. Yeah. This is the first round.
Yeah, that's why things are nasty so much.
Celtics be damned. Celtics be damned. This is still the first round. We had championship aspirations for this squad, and we talking about brooms. Of all the damn teams, injuries or not, of all the damn teams, if I had to point to one and say, you know what, this is probably going to be the last team to get a playoff win, I promise you it wouldn't have been the Brooklyn Nets. I promise you. Hell, there would have been some higher seeds that I would have went with before I said the damn Brooklyn Nets.
It's no excuse when we got the damn 9th seed right now, 2-2 with the team that went to the finals last year. And they're the best team in the NBA that won 63 games. So it's really no excuse. You that's 100% valid. Like, it's no excuse for them not winning a game. Like, even like Nikola Jokic. I've been hard on Nikola Jokic and talk about like certain things for us, like the MVP and stuff like that. But you know what? It was gonna get loud and crazy if they didn't win a game, because he would have been the first MVP to not win a game in the first round. So that's what I'm saying. Like, not winning a game in the first round and you're considered the best player in the world. I understand why people feel the way that they feel. I understand why people are saying the things that they're saying, because it's nasty territory, especially when you're not playing how everybody knows you can play. That's what makes it really nasty. And then you just top that like the cherry on top. It's the first round. It'd be a little different. It's the finals.
It's
like,
the first round.
It's the first round. So like,
and also too, at least Jokic got one. You know, there it might be a legitimate sweep happening.
Sorry,
but he got one, and it's so crazy. Here we are talking about these teams in the first round getting just one win, and it's like, wow, this is where the bar is. This is where we feel like, hey man, just give me some hope. At least Nikola Jokic is like a little bit different, because his team is depleted. So I don't. Nope. Don't let him off the hook. Don't let him off the hook.
His team is kind of depleted, though.
You of all people, I'm surprised. I shouldn't have to be saying this.
No, I'm saying, but we can't look at certain people's situations and then be like, yo,
brooms.
They
4 times.
They won one though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
He got one.
That's why. Right. That's what I'm saying though. That's why we should hold him to that higher that standard. If you don't win the series, okay, because I was thinking to myself, you can make a strong case that the Warriors have 5 of the 6 best players in this series. You can make the case that they have 5 of the 6 best players. So
that's
it's like,
not
okay,
a case. That's a fact.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. So, all right, whoop-de-woo, all right, whatever. That's not the case over in Brooklyn. It's not the case over there at Barclays. So, but whatever, I'm done talking about actually, no, I'm not. Actually, I'm not. I got one more question. Is it safe to say that Kevin Durant is the best player in the world? Right now, given everything considered, and I know we got a game 4, and I know I'm asking you this before we watch game 4, but that's the beauty of these questions. So is Kevin Durant right here, right now, the best player in the world?
Yes, I think Kevin Durant is still the best player in the world. I think Kevin Durant is still phenomenal. I still think he's extremely talented. I still think he's the best player in the world, because the reason why I think he's the best player in the world, because I feel like even though you have a crazy ass bad series, I don't think that negates the fact that, like, yo, we can just come out and say, like, forget everything that he's done. You know what I'm saying? Especially over the past, like, 4 or 5 years. So I can't sit up and say, like, yo, he's not the best player in the world just because he's having his first ever bad series, like, in the history of his career. Especially when I can go out and point to Giannis just 2-3 years ago against the Toronto Raptors and Miami Heat. I can go out and point to LeBron James in 2011 against the Dallas Mavericks. I can point to Michael Jeffrey Jordan in the 80s going up against the struggles that he went through, and he was still considered the best player in the world. So I can't sit up and say that even though Kevin Durant is having his worst series of all time that we've ever seen him play, looking like a person I don't recognize, that he's not the best player in the world right now, because I still believe he is. I just think he's really struggling right now. Now, I will say, this is part one of a two-part question, because we can go out and we can see the rest of the playoffs play out a little different, and then that question is going to definitely have to get asked again.
Yeah, I'm with it. You know, I'm still, like I said, I'm not going OD or go overboard. I still think Kevin Durant is in the conversation for best player in the world. You know, and I've been consistent with that. Just the idea with the way Giannis is playing and what they're doing now. The Bucks losing Chris Middleton and still winning. That, you know, should get talked about as well. I know they're playing the Bulls, but, you know.
And it's another thing. And don't let Giannis go out and beat Boston after what they did to the Brooklyn. I know we speaking like, you know, I believe Boston's going to win the series.
We can do that, though. We can do that, though. Because if Giannis isn't KD, right, and that can be good or bad. Not saying that it's clear cut that he's better, but just the playing styles are different, right? In terms of, like, truly, like, the definition behind the word dominance, right? And, like, obviously KD is dominant, but there's a different type, right? Yeah. But if, oh, my goodness. If Giannis goes out there and causes havoc toward the Celtics.
It's coming, though. Because
it's going to get ugly.
It's coming because it's crazy because I was talking to my dad, and my father was like, yo, Boston going to beat the Milwaukee Bucks and stuff like that. I was just like, look. I said, Dad, like, the difference between Kevin Durant and Giannis is that we had this conversation. Like, you can contain Kevin Durant in different ways that you can't contain Giannis. Giannis' physicality, ain't nobody gonna punk Giannis. You know what I'm saying? Like, Giannis, pencil him in 30 and 10. He's that dominant. Like, he's like, it's nothing. It may be a bad 30 and 10. It may be a difficult 30 and 10, but you can mark 30 and 10. Like, it's nothing I can see that the Boston Celtics that's going to do to stop Giannis Antetokounmpo, because he's that phenomenal. He's that dominant. Now, the way he gets his 30 and 10, that's when we talk about watch the game and I look at the box score. And we may watch this series, and the way he's getting his 30 and 10 is like, you got 30 and 10, but it was hard. Like, you were struggling. Like, you didn't shoot the ball that well. So that's what I feel like is going to happen.
Shit, at least he got there.
Exactly.
At least he got there. I would say, though, too, like, there's no X's and O's to contain Giannis. You know, with KD, at least what we've seen this series, there's been things to kind of slow Kevin down, at least a little bit. Different matchups, double teams, and things like that. But everyone is to blame here, right? The Boston Celtics, great defense. Kevin Durant struggles. Steve Nash, Ime Udoka, everybody. Like, it has been a group effort on both sides. Yeah. But, you know, if it,
we talk about
never rooting for a player's downfall. But if you combine Kevin Durant's performance with the strong outing from Giannis against that very same team, amen.
Conversations will be definitely had,
especially if Chris isn't back yet.
Yeah, but no matter. But that's going to help if they win the series, but it's not going to help if they lose. Because I can tell you one thing, it's going to help if Giannis goes out and wins the series, gets to Boston Celtics, and he doesn't have Chris Middleton. That's going to help him tremendously for people that's going to say a lot of things. But if he loses, it's not going to help him at all. Because not last year when we saw that, you know, Kevin Durant didn't have this person, that person, people were talking about, you know, oh well. Same thing with the Phoenix Suns. Like, people are talking about, we don't have Devin Booker, but the media kind of went on this tour talking about that he wasn't the most important player on the team. He wasn't the best player on the team. And then last year, the Phoenix Suns are all out like, oh, if the Clippers had Kawhi, it wouldn't have mattered. If the Lakers had a healthy AD, it wouldn't matter. So I don't want to hear that noise. You're down 2-2. When we switch the gears, we got to get on Phoenix. You're down 2-2 to a ninth seed. It's crazy.
Tie.
It's tied 2-2 to a ninth seed. Is crazy. I don't care how you look at it. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely. You won 63 games and you're tied to a team that was 36 and 46 in a regular season. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Point guard. It's crazy. This playoffs is like hot and cold. Like, goes out and has a phenomenal performance, and then goes out and drop 4 points. Like, yo, this is insane. I can't.
Not everybody is like that.
We can't make this up.
That's what we're learning about these playoffs. Not everyone. We're in a different era.
This is crazy.
Right? Like, we are in a completely different era. It's a lot of strange shit happening.
Wow.
But we are in a completely different era. And will we see the Pelicans make it to the Western Conference Finals? That's a possibility. Let me tell you something. A player who we may not talk about just real briefly. But JV, Jones Valanciunas.
That's a big load.
Hey, man, big I know, load. We talk about the skilled players and all this. Let me tell you something.
Big load.
He's been causing some problems. Yeah. And so, hey, it's working. I think this is another reminder that come playoff time, everything else gets thrown out the window. The Pelicans had a nasty record during the regular season. The Suns had a nasty record in the regular season. Fortunately, those words nasty can be defined in two different ways, right? And because of that, we realize that, well, all that record shit don't really matter come playoff time. If you're not performing and getting shit done, then damn it,
it's a new season.
We don't want to see a 1 seed lose in the first round. Utah might, but we don't want to see no damn. Telling you, bro, that Pelicans Grizzlies matchup in the Western Conference Finals, bro.
Western Conference Finals. Pelicans Grizzlies. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not even going to entertain that, but I can't even imagine. But then again, I can't imagine what's going on.
What could you have imagined?
I can't imagine what's going on right now. I'm wearing a Brooklyn Nets black shirt because representing death, like we talked about. It's a funeral. So I couldn't imagine that.
I'm pretty good at my open so far. I'm pretty good.
You're pretty open. You're pretty open. Yeah.
I'm pretty. I've been. Obviously injuries aside, right? Like obviously, I can't say anything about the Pelicans shit. That's just not fair. But Philly and Toronto, oh yeah. We call that a gentleman sweep. We call that a gentleman sweep. Yeah. Miami and Atlanta, there's some things happening in that series. Miami's going, and that's another thing too. You got so many teams that's up 3-1. You got Miami, you got Golden State, got Milwaukee. It's, and then you got teams winning on the road, handling business when it matters the most.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, this. It's
tough. That Timberwolves Grizzlies series though. A lot of shit talking.
Yeah, but you got to back it up too, though.
That series and I'm waiting. By the way,
it's a 3-game series, and like Ja Morant talked a lot of stuff about like feeling the way he felt. Like he feels like he's a top 5 point guard in the game. He was in MVP conversations early on in this year before he got hurt and stuff like that. He's been playing. We played well in the regular season, but the playoffs are different, and it's just kind of like your weaknesses would get shown throughout the playoffs. So I'm expecting Ja Morant because we talk about a lot of things. We talk about this team, we talk about that thing, but it's 2-2 right now, right? Like, Ja Morant, you're the second seed. You're the second seed in the West, right? Like it's 2-7. Like, what's up? Like it's just these are conversations we have to talk about because Ja Morant is not like we talk about the best young players, like you said with Jason Tatum, like you say with Luka Doncic, like if you say with Trae Young, like we're gonna hold you to this high standard, especially if you played this well in the regular season. Your team is supposed to be like that. It's going to be certain like expectations that people are going to have, especially youth things. Like me, I've been telling you all season how I felt about the Memphis Grizzlies. I told you like I didn't believe in them. I told you that in the postseason, I felt like they're probably going to get humbled, and I just felt like we got to wait and see. It's not going to be a surprise to me if they lose in the first round, but it also wouldn't be a surprise if they go to the Western Conference Finals. But I was just saying, like, it's a difference between regular season and the postseason. I think we're seeing that right now with the Memphis Grizzlies. So, Ja, you got 3 games. Step it up.
I mean, it's 2-2. It's not, they're not down
nasty, but
right?
But 3 games, best of 3. But Ja Morant's supposed to be the best player in that series.
Yeah, and it's so funny though that series is hilarious because like you already know I'm a fan of the trash talking and all that. Yeah, like when I watch post game interviews and the shit that's happened between both these teams, like, does someone on one of these teams have like 4 rings I don't know about? You would think that the way that the chatter is going is that like dudes have just been like that's have a legacy of mad playoff runs and got 4 championships and just been especially we got some babies in this damn series as I think fresh taste of the playoffs and we just talking on it. Again, I'm with the smoke, that, but like
I think you probably wouldn't say that if the play level of the stars was consistent. The play level of the stars haven't been consistent for them to be talking going back and forth. It's like
folks have one good game and all of a sudden, I got to remind.
Then a bad game the next game. Then a bad game the next game. Like,
what the hell is going on?
It's new generation.
It's this new generation. And like I said, I'm not mad at it, but I'm just confused. Like
that's what I said. 3 games, I need a 30-point performance At least show up. I need you to go crazy. Like I enjoy it, but like you said, like it's different. Like the trash talking, like, yo, it ain't been no consistency on both sides. We got Carl Anthony Towns saying, we got John Morant saying, okay, what do y'all just play a good game back to back? That's what we waiting on. Like,
please.
Like, what's really going on here?
I would prefer it be in the same game as well. You know, like
both and both.
Give me, you know what I'm saying? You give me 30 and 30 and 13. Ja, give me a 30-point triple-double, whatever the case may be. Let's really go back and forth. But this whole, it's your turn. All right, now I'm go. Yeah. Does anybody want to spaz enough to just be dominant this whole entire series? It's just so funny because, again, we got a lot of young players in this series, but it's like, the credentials that have just been given by who knows to the, like, there's still work that needs to be done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and mind you, we talking about the damn first round. We talking about winning 2 playoff games. Yeah. And let me tell you something. What the hell the Timberwolves did, bro? I remember if we covered this in the last recording, if it had happened by then, but blowing that damn lead in Game 3. My goodness.
That's
my goodness.
It's a wrap.
My goodness.
They made up for it.
Now, they did respond, right, and I'm going to give them flowers on it. They did respond. A young team like that to be able to respond. Definitely shout out. But my goodness. I'm watching the damn game and it's like, did they run out of timeouts in the third or something?
Yeah.
Does someone need to be tapped on the shoulder and say, hey, you might want to call a damn timeout?
Yeah.
What are you up, 25 points? What? Everybody want to be like Phil Jackson. I don't understand. Like, what you think? You got Kobe and Shaq rolling out there on your damn floor? You got some young guys out there. Call a damn timeout. It's playoffs. The hell with that pride shit. Let's go. What are we doing? And I'm not even a Timberwolves fan like that, but shit. I'm like, does someone need to page this man to let him know you still have timeouts to use? What the hell is the delay? Call these timeouts, regroup. You got some young guys on your team, and Memphis is clearly a team that vibes off momentum. And they on the road, so it's like
both these teams got a vibe off of momentum, low key.
Yeah, but I ain't. The Timberwolves ain't really have the run in comparison to what the Grizzlies were doing. Just like that, and it was just bad, bro. It was just like bucket after bucket after bucket, turnover after like. Hell, at what point do you as a player call timeout? Like the coach don't got to be the one that calls it. It's somebody. Hey, shit.
Yeah, the regular season, depending on certain matchups, can kind of sneak into the first round sometimes. Like we ain't gonna really start seeing. Like we started seeing it like high level basketball performance right now in defense and stuff like that with certain teams. But normally the regular season kind of creeps into the first round, especially like the lower seeds and stuff like that when these matchups are going on. But we really not going to see that real hard-nosed like defense and like really consistency probably to the second round. Those later second in the Eastern Conference and then the finals. That's when things really, to be honest, it's like a tune-up. It's like it's like a tune-up. It's a tune-up for certain teams.
Thank you, and I'm glad you said certain teams. There are some teams that have earned that. There's some teams that, could feel that way.
Yeah.
Neither of those 2 teams are on that list.
True.
Neither of them.
True.
Not one. So I don't want any of them or either team to get carried away. Thinking, But fortunately, I don't think they feel that way. I don't think the Grizzlies or the Timberwolves, damn sure not Timberwolves. Y'all still the 7th seed. But should feel like, all right, it's tune up. But yeah, I gotta want to do a cap or no cap. I don't know if it needs to be revolved around a team or a player. And I don't want to make it Celtics or KD related because it's already gotten active.
I was gonna say Ben Simmons. It's that situation's crazy.
Cap or no cap, Ben Simmons will be a Brooklyn Net next year.
Oh man, that's no cap. Yeah, I think that's no cap. He's definitely gonna be a Brooklyn Net. I think. Yeah, he has to be a Brooklyn Net. Like, he has to because it's scary. Especially, I think the better question is cap or no cap. Is Steve Nash going to be the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets? I think that's a better cap or no cap. Is
another question. This isn't a cap or no cap, but who's going to play an NBA game first? Ben Simmons or Zion Williamson? But what? What? Is that not a bad question. What's going on here? That's not a crazy like. I'm just saying we got two number one picks. Who
It's crazy. It's crazy because the best thing about the Brooklyn Nets series is Ben Simmons' outfits. That brother been fly as hell. That's like the best. That's the best thing about this Brooklyn Nets series. Like for the Brooklyn Nets side, like Ben Simmons has been fly as hell.
League
fits.
You feel me? League fits all-star.
League fits MVP of the postseason so far. That brother is fly as hell. Like that's the best season that's the best thing to happen in the Brooklyn Nets this series is Ben Simmons get his damn fits off. I ain't mad at it, but
live your life, Ben.
I'll probably say Ben Simmons because there's always a chance that the Brooklyn Nets can not get swept. I think the brooms are out tonight.
I don't think he's playing this series
at all.
There's no point. No, think about it. There's no point. At least if you would make the case like, he like if Brooklyn won Game 3, okay, now it's a series. Now it's 2-1. Now if Ben comes back Game 4, right? He might play Game 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. They not. You think his first game back gonna be in Boston? You think they're gonna throw him in that damn environment?
You may be right because even if the miracle happens, even if say they win tonight, then they go out and win in Boston, they ain't losing. If they win in Boston, coming back the next day in Brooklyn, it's gonna go 7. And bro, he not gonna play. He not gonna play a Game 7. So you probably so you probably right. So I guess we won't be. I guess we probably won't see Ben Simmons until next year. So I don't know. It's a toss up because we may not see Zion until whatever. Zion is on Zion time. He's just doing windmills and stuff, just vibes and chilling. So.
We got Zion doing windmills. We got Ben with the Fitch. Hey, they living their life, and I'm not mad at it at all. They do what they got to do.
Sometimes it's okay. Like I'm not one of these people that gonna sit up here and say that everybody got to be like a Kobe Bryant. Everybody got to be like a LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Some guys, basketball is their job. And that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Like I'm not gonna sit up and say that. Like I'm not even gonna question their passion or love for the game. Because you have to love something to be successful and reach that highest form or level. You got to love it a little bit. You may not love it a lot, but you got to love it a little bit to reach that form of like that level. Like that's the greatest. This is the greatest league in America. But I will say that some people do view certain things differently. Like you may love something, but you may love the perks of it a little bit more. Like you may love the money. You may love the women. You may love the outfits. You may love the private jets. You may love certain things, but you may, the court, that's cool. I love the other stuff a little bit more. It's like you go to a job. And it's like, I love my salary. Do I love what I do every day? Not really. I love this about it. I love that about it. So that's life.
Nah, saying Ben Simmons feels about basketball is hilarious. Considering the contract he did. And like I said, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I think, for this podcast, we talk about hoop and actual basketball players. So from an individual perspective, hey, if Ben is happy, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
But from a damn basketball perspective, what the hell is going on? But again, it's clipped for any probably possibilities of return to action. That's okay.
Does Steve Nash deserve to be fired? If they lose this first round.
I never root for a coach to be fired, regardless of how he performed. But I will say, though, that there should be some sort of shakeup. Maybe it's roster, maybe it's coach, but something has to give. Because, again, like one thing I don't like also, and experiences this as a Laker fan, how a lot of the blame will go to the coach, right? Could Steve Nash be doing a better job? Absolutely. But then by saying that Steve Nash should be fired, I think some people will just ignore the play that's happened on the court from some of the players. Yep. So everyone is saying, should you fire Steve Nash? Okay, I get it. Should you trade Kevin Durant? And nobody going to say yes to that. So it's like, acknowledge the fact that literally everyone here is to blame. Yeah. Some coaches probably deserve to have, get the peace sign and keep them pushing because of they've just been doing a terrible job and ain't been getting shit done. But in a situation like this, it really is a balance. It really is a combination. You look at the way the Nets have been playing, yeah, he probably could be a little bit more active, but at the same time, you look at the shooting numbers of certain players, they should be criticized as well. So
your first and second best players on your team can't play like the fourth and fifth, to Steve Nash's credit. But also to Kevin Durant's credit, it's just kind of like you're not putting your players in the best position. Like, Kyrie Irving's a point guard. Greatest handle we've probably ever seen in the NBA. We have seen in the NBA, history of the NBA. Like, why was he not bringing the ball more? And then, but it's just kind of like, also it goes back to another thing. Like, when you've been doing something for an entire regular season, when you're a heavy isolation team, it's kind of hard to like implement like something very new. Like, we about to run this offense now. It's kind of hard to do. Like, it's like you've been doing something all regular season long. Now we got to change things up out of the last minute. It's just kind of like, and we got isolation players. That's why I said about they miss James Harden. That's why I said that Ben Simmons needs to come in and play so he can like kind of replace what they lost from James Harden. So it's like you said, it's a big ass balance, but at the same time, I would be silly to not point out like certain coaches who've done more, who's got fired. Frank Vogel's gone. I know the Los Angeles Lakers didn't make the playoffs. He was a champion. So I can't sit up here and say if Frank Vogel can get fired, that Steve Nash should have his ass in a chair next year. I can't say that.
Especially when you consider how recent Frank became a champion.
That's what I'm saying.
A year and a half ago? Like,
I can't sit up and say that. Especially when you come into, it's like, you come into the perfect situation. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, even James Harden's gone. You come into a perfect situation. What NBA rookie head coach comes into a perfect situation like that? And you're failing miserably? You got to go. You got to go. Like, you ain't come to a rebuilding. Like, you got to teach and stuff like that. Like, you ain't like you ain't none of that going on. You got champions.
Yeah,
you got to go.
But I want to give a shout out to Eric Spoelstra too, though, because of that. Like, I like when you think back to those early Miami Heat days, right? When all the expectations, they had Brown, Wade, and Bosh,
and they wanted Spoelstra growing and
exactly.
Like, nah.
Yeah. Some people thought like, oh, they got to get rid of. Eric, they got to get someone who's more experienced. And then he went out and proved that he could get it done. Talent be damned. Not every coach can do that. And we are literally seeing that now. So it's almost like we got to pay respect to the coaches that actually deserve it, as opposed to saying, all right, this one is only getting done because he has talent. Not everybody can win, even with talent.
Here's another one. Steve Kerr. Like, implementing the ball movement style with the Golden State Warriors and like having those guys buy in, having all this talent and still being successful, adding Kevin Durant and still being successful, losing Kevin Durant and going through those couple down years rebuilding. And now he has a championship roster. Like, give credit when credit is due, because like people talk about talent, acquiring talent, but you got to acquire talent. You got to make it work. You got to put in a philosophy offensively and defensively to make that shit run. And if you can't do that, all the talent in the world don't matter. It's like a company. You acquire all the talent in the world, but you got all this talent, but it's just like nobody knows their role. That talent can't produce. That talent can't make the business money. That talent can't help the company grow. So it's just like, what do you do? What do you do? Clip his ass.
Yeah, he's not about to be the one that's clipped. It look like brooms might be out in Barclays, but who knows? But yeah, y'all, housekeeping items as always. Subscribe to No Pump Fakes on YouTube. Of course, blessed with a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. All right, turn on your notifications for whenever we drop an episode. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all that. And just like that, y'all, we gone. Peace.
It's your boy, Ahmad K. Smith, also known as AK. Make sure you guys go follow No Pump Fakes wherever you get your podcasts.